An NFL insider just dropped another massive Micah Parsons update, and this one is more bad news. We tell you why contract talks have gone nowhere and what the latest is on this saga in today's show, right here on Cowboys Digest. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. We appreciate you tuning in for better or for this instance, for worse. Before we get going, though, I want to make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are getting absurdly close to that 5,000 subscriber mark, and I would love to hit that before the regular season starts. We're going to have a bunch of cool things coming up, a lot of content, and daily coverage of the Dallas Cowboys that you don't want to miss, so hit that subscribe button to join the Cowboys Digest Nation. The situation with Micah Parsons is something that I am not finding very fun, and, well, I'll just save the big news and kind of go straight for it here and say that this is the overarching theme of the article we're going to go through and the story about today. Nothing has changed regarding negotiations between the Cowboys and Micah Parsons, who haven't discussed a deal in months. This is not exactly what I want to hear, and we'll go more into the article and what it exactly says, but if you see it down there in the fine print, Jerry Jones on what's preventing Parsons talks, quote, nothing. The quote should be nothing. I'm just an idiot. That's what the quote should be, because when I see Micah Parsons sitting on the sideline looking like a gloomy child that is unloved in an organization, I want to just go up to Jerry Jones and ask him what his plan is, why this happens, why this is something that has happened for season after season. Now, do I think a deal gets done with Micah Parsons? Yeah, I think one ultimately happens. I don't like that this has happened for the second straight season, for the third straight player, but I think ultimately a deal does get done. That does not mean I guarantee it, though, and I could very easily see this going south very quickly, because as of right now, he has requested a trade. That is kind of the basics of what has, quote-unquote, gone on. But now we know that there has not been contract talks at all. And Jerry Jones has a little bit of a delusional idea of what he expects out of Micah this season. Here's the headline. Cowboys Jerry Jones, no deadline for Micah Parsons' availability. Now, we'll get into the quotes and what exactly he means by all this in just a moment, but just not exactly the greatest thing to hear right there. So let's start with the article here by going through the beginning, saying, quote, the Dallas Cowboys had their final padded practice in Oxnard on Wednesday and will return to Texas on Thursday. And the Micah Parsons situation remains unsolved, end quote. Now, the reason they're going back to Texas, they have their first preseason game in AT&T Stadium this upcoming Saturday at 5 o'clock versus Baltimore. We're going to try and see if we can get a live stream going, at least for the first half of that game, but do expect a live stream, hopefully that next week against the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to try, we're definitely going to have an opening night, but we're going to try and get some more live streams going for the preseason games, just kind of leading up. So again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, because we're going to have, hopefully, if not this weekend, we'll definitely have next week against the Atlanta Falcons, so don't miss that. But that's why they're going back to Texas, and why they have their final padded practice, I guess now what would be today. So we kind of want to talk more about Micah Parsons, though, in today's video, and know where we go here. Todd Archer, again, of ESPN, saying, quote, Parsons watched practice just a few feet from owner and general manager Jerry Jones, but nothing has changed regarding negotiations between the two sides. They have yet to discuss a deal, although Jones said he would not trade Parsons after the edge rusher made his request public on August 1st, end quote. So he mentioned how they were standing next to each other. Well, let's start with that here as I have the picture. You can see that Jerry Jones up in the top of that kind of booth area, whatever you want to call it, stand. Micah Parsons is down low. They are literally like, I don't know, 20, 30 feet from each other. And this has happened multiple times. I mean, obviously this is a different one because of height, but it's just ridiculous that they're standing that close together and yet haven't discussed contracts. And this is the quote that I don't like, and I don't think you will either. What is preventing the sides from talking? Asked a reporter to Jerry Jones. Jones said, quote, really? He said, pause. Nothing. So why aren't they talking? Again, nothing would be that, Jones said. And we might, or we might not talk. And the rest of that gets into what we do every day, end quote. What does that even mean? What does that even get into what we do every day? You haven't talked with them. You even got in a contract talk with him. You had this fake contract that you said, oh yeah, he agreed upon when his agent wasn't present. I know, Jerry, I know you like to deal with the players. You have made that clear time and time again. But the NFL does not work that way now. The players do not work this way. The agents are telling them, do not talk, do not agree to anything unless I am present. I just don't understand why the inadequacies of Jerry Jones continue to be there. Now, he was asked about a deadline for Micah Parsons and, quote, asked if there was a deadline to know whether Parsons would play September 4th against the Philadelphia Eagles. Jones said, no, not at all. You don't have deadlines when you're playing under a contract, end quote. I don't know if Jerry Jones has been watching the NFL the past 5-6 seasons, but players have gotten a lot more control than they had in the past. The days of Le'Veon Bell sitting out and then ruining his career are over, especially for defensive linemen as young, as talented, and as poised as Micah Parsons. We saw Chris Jones do it for the Chiefs just a couple years ago. He sat out the first game and literally went to the game in a booth, and that forced the Chiefs' hand to get him a deal. We've seen it happen with a couple of different players, and deals have gotten done. But guess what? If you think that Micah Parsons is guaranteed going to play for you on week 1 when his contract is not yet signed, I think you might want to rethink. Now, do I think Micah will play? Probably. But he has been out of practice. He has not been doing much at practice. Obviously, we don't expect him to see in the preseason. So if you think that he is, oh yeah, he's just going to play because he's under contract, you would be downright pitiful. Now, he's going to get fined for every game he's missed. He's going to get fined for all this stuff. But guess what? A lot of times when these contract stipulations happen, those fines go away when a contract is signed. And Micah Parsons is not a poor man. And when he signs a contract with the Cowboys or with whoever else, he will be even more not a poor man. Those fines do not mean a lot to him. The inadequacy of what Jerry Jones is seeing in the old age NFL to now is becoming a little bit ridiculous. Now, to kind of put it out there as to put his expectations, Parsons is set to make $21.324 million this season on the 5th-year option of his rookie contract. That is a lot of money. He has been taking part in the walkthroughs and meetings, but has not practiced. He missed 2 practices the past week while getting treatment for back tightness. Now, it's funny how he says he has not practiced, but he missed 2 practices. He's, quote-unquote, just kind of standing on the sidelines, like we saw those photos. Now, quote, I'm glad he's been here, as Jerry Jones said. Quote, it's important for the teammates, but it's important for him to pick up all of the coaching and nuances. And osmosis is a very big thing, and he's been handling that part of it, end quote. Jerry Jones, I will give you credit. You have done one thing right since, I'm not going to say calling out, just saying injuries and labeling Micah Parsons under that umbrella. Since then, you have talked about Micah Parsons in a good light, but it's hard when you continue to not talk about him with contracts, when you continue to kind of talk about this as if this is not a new NFL than what you have been working in for the past 20, 30 years, whatever you want to call it. You have to understand things change. And I want to be a little more like, capable out there and say, yeah, I believe that a deal is going to get done. But it's hard. And Micah Parsons deserves his money. 13 games, 12 sacks. I saw a comment in one of my last videos. You thought Micah Parsons wasn't playing to a Pro Bowl. Why Micah Parsons was not playing to a Pro Bowl level last year? How could you say that? Dude, he had 12 sacks in 13 games. That's a good season. He played it in 13 games, was injured. Micah Parsons last year, if he played all the seasons, if he played all year, would have been a Pro Bowler, and it wouldn't have been a question. Micah Parsons is one of, if not the best defensive edge rushers in the NFL. I would put him up there right next to Myles Garrett. And I think at times Myles Garrett may be better. But I think at times Micah Parsons might be better. Guess what Myles Garrett is making after he requested a trade? $40 million. Guess what TJ Watt is making, who I don't think he's as good as Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't think he is. He's making $41 million a year. Micah Parsons, because of the way you have done this, when he has said in his, again, it's all his accounts on Twitter, and saying, oh, I want a contract extended. I can't prove that, but if that were all true, he has been asking for a contract at a lower value, said I would take less money. That's not my worry. He would say that for the past 2 years. And now we're sitting here, and if I'm Micah Parsons, and I just requested a trade after you were basically calling me out for being injured for one season when I have laid my body out on the line for your organization, I would say, you know what? It's $45 million now. It's $45 million. You want me to stay? It's $45 million. You don't want me to stay? Okay, fine. Fine. We'll play this year, and you put me on a franchise tag. You do. You pay me $25 million, and then it's going to go up to the highest quarterback number. What are you going to do then, Jerry? You going to pay me $50 million? No, you're not. You're not. Get the deal done. Sign him for $45 million because you're dumb, and you have once again had the price go up. You could have signed him for $38 million not a year ago. Instead, you're going to be paying $45 million a year. That is your fault. And you keep saying, oh, we extended Terrence Steele too early. He's making... The stupidness of Jerry Jones baffles me sometimes. Now, I know there's different sections of Cowboys fan because of how big this fan base is. There are fan bases, and they're the Cowboys. We have done a lot in the past 20 years, and we have wanted to be that top-tier team that we always were back, in the, I'm going to say olden days now because that's how long it was ago. I just want to be back to that level, and I know we're close. This team is good. I think Coach Schottenheimer has built a good, let's say vibes. I'm not going to say a good team just yet because I haven't seen him play, but they have good vibes. Finish it out. Finish the offseason of a good offseason by getting Micah deal done. I don't want to be talking about this anymore. I want to be happy and saying Micah got a deal done. Our season is on. But I can't say that just yet because I don't know. What is Micah Parsons' plans? If he's not going to practice all preseason, is he not going to play in the regular season? It's a fair question to be asked. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Does Micah play? Does he hold out? What happens with the situation? Let me know all your thoughts down there. As always, I'm responding, I'm looking at them, and we're making sure we're talking with Cowboys Nation. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all joining to show and partially my rant. But we'll see you next time here on Cowboys Digest, guys. Peace out.